Hi and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to do another pick a card video. So this pick a card is for getting to know yourself better and realizing who the person is that you're growing into. I feel like in this phase, around May 2023, we are growing into new versions of ourselves. It's like we are seeing new truths about ourselves and leaving the old behind. Well, this can be pretty difficult sometimes as we still play out roles from the past. And so realizing who it is that you really want to be helps to step into that version more and more, to leave behind what is the past, let it be the past, and be excited about who it is that you're growing into be. So if you're excited to see who the person is that you're becoming, you can now choose between these 4 piles. This is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, 3, and 4. You can pause the video to feel to whichever pile you're drawn to the most, and then we'll start the reading. Okay, pile 1, welcome to your reading. You chose this beautiful rainbow heart, and I feel like you're very much aware of the process that you're in right now. As we have the card of my vibes speak louder than my words, and Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. This kind of tells me that you might be into maybe the law of attraction, manifesting. So it's kind of like you know that whatever energy you're putting out is also what you will get back. And what you dream of, you can already become that version of you who has what it is that you want already in order to attract it into your world. That is basically like the very short form version of what manifesting kind of means. So it's like you're aware of the vibes that you're putting out. I just feel so old when I say that. Is it like an old word? Like we started using this like 10 years ago, right? Is it already like outdated? I don't know. I feel weird saying it. Energy. The energy that there's nothing wrong with the word vibe, by the way. I don't know. The energy that you're putting out is very intentional. I feel like you're intentionally shifting into who you really want to be. It might be that the school that you're going to is changing or your environment, and so you're being aware of you're having this chance of presenting yourself again in a new way because of a new environment. And so it's easier to really shape shift and create this person that you want to present to the world because you get to start over. You're starting again. And it's like you finally have the time to create who you want to be. And I also pulled a card with a question on it. Well, this is a Dutch question, so you probably won't get it, but it says, who or what is easily forgotten? So I feel like you might have not felt this way before. Like you really get to pay attention to how you are presenting yourself to the world. Instead of letting the world shape you, you're now being conscious of the fact that you can show others how you want to be treated. You can show others like who you want to be, and you can start doing that right now. You can start doing that every day. Like you do not have to be the same version every day just because people expect you to be a certain way. Every day we can like change it. We can say like, oh, I'm not really into that anymore, or oh, okay, I'm going to go about this differently. Like maybe you take another route to work, or maybe you choose other types of friends, or maybe you, instead of going out every night, you are staying in and picking up a new hobby, or vice versa. Instead of watching Netflix all the time, you start to go out. Like you can change these things that we call our persona every day, and it feels like you are really putting in the work to see what fits you right now. And so maybe you're changing these things up. Maybe you're actively thinking about how you would want to be seen by others, and then taking the action. It's time to take action, new moon in Aries, to let others see that version of you as well. It also says show the world the real you. So it really feels like you're being more true to yourself and you are not wanting to stay in this old version of you. So you finally get the time and the opportunity to be conscious of how you want to be perceived and how you want to shape your reality. And you do let yourself be influenced by your past, because that's just all we know, right? But you're pretty grounded in it, and it's like you're experimenting and trying things on to see what fits, what feels good. And within this, I would recommend to feel like what is feeling natural to you and what feels unnatural is probably not what fits you. More in the sense that new things that you have never done before might also feel uncomfortable, but some things just feel right. It just feels like it fits, right? And then other things, doesn't matter what it is, probably also out of your comfort zone, might seem really fun on the outside, but then when we try it, or we like meet new people and then we hang around with them for a while, but then we discover like, oh, it's just not really, they're not really my my vibe. And so it's really courageous to like jump in and try things on. And it's also really fun. I feel really excited for you. Like there's this excited, a beautiful energy here of being open-minded, of having like being pretty hopeful and just seeing the magic of things and feeling like I can do like anything that I want. And you can. And so this is such a fun energy. And like go for it. If you have felt like you were the one, coming back to this question of who or what is easily forgotten, if you feel like other people wouldn't really notice you before, or you didn't really pay much attention to what was possible for you, maybe you didn't feel like there was a lot possible for you, and now it's like, oh, like I am the creator of my own reality. Like, yeah, you are. You get to create your reality every day. You get to choose how you want to present yourself to the world. So play with it, go for it. And so what you're also doing is you're really opening your heart up to other people and the experience around you. It's like you really have this open mind and you're jumping straight in. And it's beautiful how you are showing up, because you are already showing up as your most true version. And so you're like, you're either going to like get me, like me, or not. And that's fine. I'm just showing you who I am. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to try to be different, because you have this opportunity to present yourself right now, right? If you're meeting new people, that's just the version that you are right now is how they are going to get to know you. Like your childhood friends might have seen you go through all these phases, so they already have a image of who you are. While if you're meeting new people, that is like the first time they see you. And so that version is what they will remember. And so if you're going about it like, okay, hello world, this is me, that's creating this beautiful container for other people to be like, yeah, that's for me, or like, no, I don't really connect with you in that way. And that's fine. And I think that this is the best way to connect with people. It is also pretty scary sometimes, because you're really opening your heart, and so we might get disappointed. But I feel like you are pretty aware of that and you don't really care. It's like, yeah, I know that can happen, but like I have the same with other people as well. Like if I'm gonna like you, I'm gonna like you, and if I don't, I don't. And it might be that some people are finding you really interesting in this way because you're sincere, because you're open-hearted, because your heart is open, and they might feel really attracted to that energy because it is magnetic. And then they try to show you their sincerity because they see you showing up like that. And then it might get really personal and it might feel really scary, and then they suddenly change. Pay attention to that. That's not about you. That's more about you triggering others to be authentic, and maybe they're just not ready to commit to it, because that open heart is so precious, but it can also easily be broken, right? And so what you're doing is really brave, and not everybody is ready to do that yet. So we have all kinds of masks, right, to try to protect ourselves. And so be aware of the fact that people might get to know you and then want to open up as well. And then they might just retreat and start to act differently. Know that that is not about you. If you are really being true to yourself and like keep sticking to what you're doing, that is still like a beautiful energy, and new people will get attracted to that as well. It's just that you're kind of setting the bar and you're seeing how many people can keep up with your energy, and like you're showing others how you want to be treated, and so they will see that and then treat you accordingly. So the people who fall off the wagon in a while are just coming to terms with, oh, I cannot keep up with the energy of pile one. Like, it's beautiful, but I cannot match this. And so it won't be a match. It won't be in alignment for you, for them as well, because they still have some lessons to learn. So let that happen. Like, let people come and go. If they really want to commit to being as true to themselves and to you as you are to yourself, like, then you have found your people, right? Then it's a match. So don't get discouraged. It's just that the universe is showing you like who is ready to be true to you. And so keep being true to you, so that way you will find the people who can do that. But that takes a little bit of time. So like, keep experimenting with doing different things, meeting new people, and don't close your heart. Like, it's super brave that you're doing it like that. That to me is like the only way to find genuine people who will fit. Because if you're going to take on masks, you are going to mirror that to people, and then they see like, oh, she's wearing a mask, okay, then I can wear a mask as well, right? And then you're not really being true to each other, and so it probably kind of will be a match on that level, but you won't have the connections that are really fulfilling, and that's kind of the difference. And so you're looking for the genuine, fulfilling connections, and some people are ready for that, and some are just not. Some people think they are, and then they drop out later. So that's kind of a pattern that I'm picking up. But don't be discouraged. Like, there are people who are genuine. There are people who will keep the course. Okay, now I'm going to shuffle some tarot for you. Okay, that's funny. That's kind of what I just talked about. Like, the Four of Cups is people who are a little bit shady, and like justice. Well, probably can tell where that goes, where that story goes. Let's see. Two of Swords, Seven of Cups, 2, 4, 6. Okay. That's I kind of should have picked these cards first and then do the story that I just told you, because that is just what I kind of read from these cards. Like, this is the other shady person card. Not to say that these people are shady, it's just that they're not really, they just have to learn more about being true to themselves. Like, some people just bullshit you because they are bullshitting themselves. That's kind of the energy that I picked up on from some people that you're meeting. So stepping into this new version of you means that we are also leaning into new types of friends, new types of relationships, because as we're changing, those people that we are resonating with are also changing. And it's a time of exploration. And so you will meet lots of people, and some people will just fall off and some people will stay. And that's just, they just have this choice to make with you. Are they going to learn how to not bullshit themselves and stay true to themselves and to you? Or are they going to take like the easy route? And I'm feeling that this is like about really deep friendships and maybe a relationship, like a romantic relationship. As I feel like the friends that you're having, like casual friends, that's like all good, and you're not really expecting, you're not expecting a lot from them, but that's just because you're just seeing them now and then it's just really fun. Like you can have friends for different types of reasons, right? So maybe one friend is just to really laugh with, another friend is just to have deep conversations with, other people you might go out with. So I feel like that's like okay how it is. But I feel like there is a relationship in your life that is like coming because I just talked about new people, or it's someone that you already know, because as you're changing, some people just cannot really grow with us, right? Because they are going through a different phase, or they're not just don't really get where you're going through, or are maybe triggered by what you're doing. And so I feel like someone is playing a game and it's not really honest to you. And I feel like it has somebody else involved. So maybe there is this friend that is trying to tell you that you're all amazing, and then behind your back, they're talking with someone else like shit about you behind your back. Or if it's about a relationship, it might be that someone is looking around or already like dipping their toe into trying somebody else out. Not to say that this is the case, I just feel like there is some insincerity within your relationships, and this might have happened. Like this is, I kind of feels also as past energy. It's not like you're not really aware of this. You feel like there's something shady going on. It's just that you're like maybe waiting for the confirmation or to cut them off. Like you are, the Two of Swords is about making a decision, going either left or right. And I kind of feel like you are dabbling into making a decision to cut this person off, but you're not sure whether or not it's okay for you. Like you know that that they are being insincere, and so that's of course like a reason enough to cut someone off. But if it's someone that you really love and you have a deep relationship with, there is a part of you is saying like, I know I don't want to let go, like I want to hold on to this because there were parts that were good, right? But you're being reminded that what is going right is what you are worthy of. Like this kind of good, like the friendships that you have. There are so many amazing people out there who you haven't even met who want to treat you right. Like this bullshit, I feel like this is like the person talking behind your back. You don't need that. You don't even, like, you don't deserve that. And I feel like the reason that you're putting up with this is just because you're maybe like afraid to set these boundaries that you haven't set before with these people. And that also makes me want to get back to this question, which is like who or what is easily forgotten. I feel like you might have gotten used to a certain type of treatment and it's become like the norm. And so maybe people have been talking about behind your back, but you're like, oh, whatever, like that happens all the time. Doesn't mean that it's okay. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with it. And it doesn't mean that that is the standard of how you're being treated. No, not at all. Like, you know that you can change that. You know that now. Do you see how much power that gives you? Because literally how you want to be treated, that is how you can show the world like, hi, I do not accept this behavior. If you want to be in my life, treat me with respect. I give you my time and attention and love. I pour my energy into you, so I deserve to get that back, right? It's about reciprocity. And I used to not really get that as well. I was a chronic people pleaser. And so I get what it's like to not want to lose people, to do everything for them so they will like stay. It's about being appreciated because then we feel good. In case that is how it felt for me. Like I wanted to be needed, I wanted to be wanted, and so I made myself useful. So if I would not be in their lives anymore, they would miss me because I was so useful. But what I learned is that I am lovable just because I am. I don't have to do anything for it. I don't have to earn it. And that was such a mindfuck for me. That is what I learned when I started working with the law of attraction. That is when I learned about that it's okay to set my own boundaries, because I got drained of these people. Like, of course, if you're going to wave this big sign around, like, come here, I'll help you, those people who want to just like take from you are going to notice that as well. And so that's the kind of person that you will attract. If you set your boundaries from the get-go and you show others how you want to be treated by setting these boundaries, someone says something in like a funny way, but actually you feel like it's not really funny, it's just kind of stabbing someone in the back, you can be like, yeah, that's not really funny, or just not laugh, or like things like that. Setting boundaries is pretty subtle sometimes. It's also like energy. Like people can try things with you, make weird assumptions or comments, and you can just like not get into it or not react, or like make a joke about it, but then also put someone in their place, right? It doesn't have to be this full-on conversation being like, okay, so these are my boundaries. It doesn't have to be like that. It's in the small stuff as well. And that's kind of what you're learning, but I also feel like the universe is showing you this pattern of people not treating you right, so you can finally let it go. Because I feel like this has happened before. It's kind of like an old energy. And I also feel like if you're not tuning more into what is going right with like these really fun friends, like that, this is the energy that the universe wants you to be in. And you're still attracting people who are bullshitting themselves and also then you. And it doesn't have to be that way. And so it's okay to set these boundaries, and I feel like that's what you're really learning right now. And with this energy that I just talked about, that's kind of the only way that you're going to attract real, sincere people, because that is the energy that you're putting out. So people who are willing to do the same will respond to that. The less that you are showing others that you're bullshitting yourself, like the more people who can handle that kind of honesty and love and reciprocity as well. But that also comes with setting boundaries, because I feel like you're so giving to others and willing to like take everybody in, see everybody as equal and as a friend. You're able to get so much better. And so if you are hanging around with people who are like fun or like pretty okay, you're not going to be able to spend that energy on people who are really like your ride or die friends, because you're hanging out in these spaces that are like meh, and meh can be like good for a little while. So maybe like you're in this waiting period of not really meeting friends, so you're just sticking with these people that you've met, and that's like okay for a while, but then like you want to meet like your people, right? And so I feel like you just have to keep showing up. I feel like you have to keep, and you've already been doing this, you've already been showing others like more about yourself, you're trying out new things, you're meeting new people, and that's amazing. And I feel like that is going to attract the right people for you. It's just that you have to be honest about your boundaries, and boundaries are beautiful, and you are a beautiful person as well. So it's okay to want better. It's okay to not accept all the behavior and bullshit that you have been like feeling or experiencing before. And I'm so sorry for you, because you did not deserve the talking behind your back and like not just these people who are not genuine or honest or cannot reciprocate your love and attention. Like, we're done with that. That is what this says. It's like, okay, we have this choice now to do things differently. We know that this is a lesson and it will keep repeating itself. So am I ready to like cut the cord, or am I just going to stay where I'm not appreciated for a little bit longer just because it feels pretty scary, and like, I get this. This is so like normal to go through. But that is like, if we're talking about the energy that you're stepping into, it's about, like, this card literally says, creating heaven on earth. You get to create whatever you want. You get to like attract the friends that light you up, that appreciate you, that see you for who you really are, and celebrate that within you, just like you are willing to do in others as well, right? So why wouldn't you find people who can do that with you too? It's just about patience. It's about trying new things and then seeing who sticks around. And like, not everybody is going to be able to do that, but I feel like there are a lot of people who will and who are. You just have to believe that you're worthy enough for it. And like, you do not have to do anything to be worthy. And like I said, you do not have to do anything to deserve love. You just get to be you, and then the right people will gravitate towards you. If people are making you work for their love, that's not love. That is just trying to get something from you, from the relationship. And so it's not built on mutual trust, love, and yeah, it's just not the vibe. We're talking about vibes. So I want to get one more card for you from the question deck. What is a question that pile one can think about when it comes to who they want to become and who they are becoming? Here we go. To which pattern does this belong? So if we're talking about patterns, what is the pattern that you have been getting into? What is the pattern that you want to let go? I think if you have that clear, I also feel like you needed to hear the message about the people who are not sincere. And yeah, I don't know really what happened there, but like, if you get to recognize what happened there, and if it's like a repeating pattern, it's even more like worth paying attention to, because if you can pinpoint it, you see why it happened. And like, some people are just shitty people. Let's just put it that way. And then like, it doesn't really mean that you did anything wrong. That can also be the case, right? So if you're looking into this pattern, don't be too hard on yourself, but it might be that you don't just think that you deserve something better. It's just what you've gotten used to. And so maybe you have to set boundaries, but maybe that is not the case, right? Maybe it's something else. And so if you get to know your pattern and really get into like why you tolerated it, then you can also get out of it. We first have to be conscious of the fact what happened, what we're doing to change it. Oh, I also have within my membership a video, an EFT tapping video about attracting new friendships. I think if you want to work on your subconscious programming, so maybe like this feeling of, I do not know where to find them, like I kind of feel different than the rest, or like you've had a lot of hurt before, so you're afraid that you will attract like people like that again. In that video, I help you reprogram your subconscious mind to attract like the friends that you really want to have, and we work through those fears so you can be an open channel, like have this new energy around you that will attract those people. I will link my membership below. It's within the tier of Shapeshifter. So I really hope that you like this reading and it helped. Like, to be honest, you're doing pretty awesome. Like, you know that you are already becoming this new version of yourself. You're making conscious choices. You're putting out like the energy that you want to attract, and you're being conscious of the fact of who you are becoming. And that is all that you need to move into this new version of you. You're already doing it, and you are really being true to yourself. Like, not many people can do that. So yeah, I feel like you're just really brave, and you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, but you know what you're doing. And so like, keep being kind to yourself and don't settle for anything less than what you know that you deserve, okay? So let me know how this resonated. I hope that you have a great week. Bye. Welcome, pile number 2, to your reading. I decided to pull a question card from this Dutch card deck that I have. And you got the question. It's kind of a weird question, but I kind of get where they're like getting at with this. The question is, if this is a gift, what is the gift? Like, you can interpret that in many ways, but in this case, you've got the crumbling. What are you clinging onto? Then share your voice, the age of light, and creating mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. And this is a like grounding card. It's about being conscious. It's about knowing what you want. But I also feel like you might have to wait. I feel like you're in this waiting period where things are crumbling. So the old has to go in order for you to build the new, right? And I also feel like you need to speak up. There is a conversation need to be had with someone. I feel like this might have to do with your work situation. Maybe it's like asking for a raise or wanting to do something else within your job, or maybe like finding a new job. And it's about being patient and trusting that what is happening for you, not to you. And I feel like you're pretty good at this. I feel like you might be meditating a lot or like being in nature. But I also feel like you're still, of course, like stressing out about it, as this is not an easy thing to do. I also feel like you already kind of know some of the answers. You feel like you know where you want to go. It's just a matter of time to have all the puzzle pieces fall into place. That's kind of where you are at right now. So who you are becoming. I feel like that is becoming clearer and clearer as you are making these decisions for yourself. It's pretty hard to tell within these cards. I just feel a very calm, collected energy, a confident energy, because you have to like move forward. You're taking the steps to move forward. That is not an easy thing to do, but you already know that where you were isn't working. And so you already have set the steps in motion. So maybe you've already like asked this person to have a conversation, and the conversation will be happening soon, or you've already like applied for a new job, those kinds of things. It's just that you are aware of where you want to go, and now you have to take the steps towards it. We have the card of balance, spirituality, and practicality. So first it's about dreaming up what you want to create, right? We're in this creating phase, and then we need to start to plant the seeds. And you've already been doing that. It's just that you are wanting to move to the next phase. And it feels like you might be doubting like where you are in that timeline. And I feel like you are getting really close to the finish line, but it doesn't really feel like that for you. So it feels like there are only like a few steps left before you are at the finish line. It's just that you cannot really see the finish line yet, how it looks. And you're not supposed to like know that. I feel like you have an idea about it, but I feel like Spirit might be keeping out a few surprises for you. And so that might feel weird right now. That might feel like that waiting energy, like, okay, I kind of know what's going to happen, but I don't really know what's going to happen. I also feel like you are waiting for permission from someone. And I feel like you are scared that you're not going to get that permission in order to move forward or become this person that you really want to be. And so becoming a new version of ourselves also means that we are taking on different identities, right? So our job can become part of our identity. It's not who we are in our core, at our soul, but it is a facet of us, right? And so it feels like you want to try on this new facet, this new part, and someone else's opinion is weighing heavy on you within this dream. And so I'm being called to look at that question again of, what if this is the gift? What if there is a gift in this process of waiting, in this process of trying to get permission? But then we also have the card of share your voice. It's like you need to give yourself permission by having these conversations. It's like you are proving to yourself that you can do it. You are proving for yourself that you're equipped for this role or this new thing that you want to try on as your identity. It's about trusting. I feel like the energy that you are getting into is the energy of trust. Trusting that this is happening for the highest good. Trusting that life is happening for you, not to you. And setting these steps is just a beautiful part of your journey. And you have to set these steps in motion in order to get out on the other side, right? You can dream all day, but like you've been taking action. It's like time. And you know it's been time for a little while now. And so you can be like proud that you are trying it. Because if you wouldn't try, you wouldn't even like be able to see how it is. And you're so brave for like taking the steps, doing the damn thing, right? How many people are just sitting around and waiting, feeling like life is happening to them and not doing anything about it? That's a waste of time, in my opinion. And so you're not wasting any time. And yeah, it's not easy, especially if it feels like things are crumbling down and like the old is getting replaced with the new. That is uncomfortable. But you also see what is on the other side. You also see what can happen as well. And you already kind of feel like that person, that new version of you. I feel like you are already feeling that person within you, and they're gentle, they're kind, but they are also not afraid to take action. And they follow their intuition, they know what they need to do in order to move forward. And by trusting, that is also the version of us that comes forward with that. If we are trusting, we are easily guided towards the right things, the right people for us. This card is talking about miracles. Those are those little miracles. When we trust the universe, when we trust the plan of our soul, and like we have free will, we get to do whatever we want, but our soul wants to learn certain lessons. So we'll place things, people, circumstances in our path to help us realize like where we want to go, what feels good to us, what resonates, what is in alignment with our soul. And you've just discovered something that is in alignment with your soul that just really feels good. You want to try it on. And that is because it is part of your soul plan. So of course it's going to resonate because your soul is like, yeah, that's for me. And so it just feels really good. And I'm pretty happy for you that you are growing into this version of you that is closer to your soul. Because the more that we start to do things that resonate with our soul, the more alive, joyful, living with purpose, that's kind of the energy that we get into. Everything moves easier, and through that we become more of who we actually are, right in our core, as our soul. So what is the gift? I'm going to shuffle some tarot for you, but I think it's a pretty interesting question. Can you see what the gift in this waiting period is? I think it's more about exploration and trusting yourself more. I think that is what you're learning throughout this journey, and you're almost there. What is the gift? What is the gift? Let's have 2. Okay, let's see. I feel like the gift is that you're standing up for what you're believing in. It's also time to leave behind what wasn't working and to look at yourself with grace for how you've been able to move through it. And I feel like it hasn't been easy. I feel like there has been pretty deep hurt when it comes to being yourself, when it comes to feeling good about what you're doing. I think that you might have felt pretty lost before, or like you did not get the chance to grow. Someone else was like holding you back or saying like, no, you're not ready for that role yet, or just circumstances. Maybe like you wanted to finish your study, but then you got a baby, or like something like that, something unexpected that was not really that felt out of your control, but having to settle for it. And I feel like you're finally being like ready to take that power back and to create this life that you've always wanted for yourself. And so it's okay to take the time to learn about what it is that you really want, and to say no to everything that isn't that. And it's not selfish, because you've been in this energy of disappointment. Now it's your turn. And it's always been your turn. I hear Spirit say, like, let me be very clear. It's always been your turn. But it's like you're finally realizing that as well. And I'm still being redirected to the question of what is the gift? What has been the gift in this beautiful journey that you went on, with the hardships, with the disappointments, with the struggles? But what has been the gift? Like maybe if you got a baby, like the baby is also the gift, right? Getting to experience new ways of life, and maybe you had the time to really become like a master of your craft in this waiting period of not being able to pursue something bigger. And I shouldn't say bigger, because there is nothing like bigger, smaller, good or bad here. It's just your journey, which is perfect, and it's perfectly unfolding in the right way for you. Your soul has been wanting certain growth. Like I said, we have free will, but we're always shown like where we can grow most. So I feel like you can think about what is the soul growth that I've been going through, and what needs to go now in order for this new version of me that is like what I really want now that it's my turn. What has to fall away for me to being able to really blossom? Because the old structures might not be the optimal like soil for us to grow in. So maybe we need to be replanted. Maybe we need to be in a different environment in order to get back into our power. If there are people who are, I feel like the Les Paul had something about people talking behind their back and being insincere. I feel like maybe there have been people who, and like for pile one, it was very clear that that was their intention. I feel like there might be people who do not really have that intention, but they are also not the people who can help you grow. They might be really great, really lovely people, but they might, like without it being like their intent, they might be holding you back. And I think that it's time to be honest to yourself about that. Like, where do you feel like you can grow? Where do you feel like this expansion within you? And where do you feel yourself like contracting? And your body is, I love the body for this. You can literally feel when you're talking with someone or someone walks in the room, you can feel your body reacting to how you are reacting to that person. So there is this energy of expansion when people are lighting you up and helping you, just be yourself. And then there, like, those people are like the people whose eyes lit up when they see you, right? It just feels genuine. And then there are these people who just make your energy feel contracting. So you're kind of closing yourself off because energetically your body is saying like, oh, I need to protect myself. And that is what is happening. So I would encourage you to feel into how you're feeling with certain people and see how your body is reacting, like giving you signals. It's very smart. It's so wise, your body. And so see what you want to do with that information. But I think that like you are setting boundaries and feeling in what kind of environment you would be thriving most. And I also feel like, I love this, I feel like maybe you had what other people might call like a lower position, and I feel like you're like climbing the ladder and being like the boss now. I feel like it's something like that. You're surpassing where you were, and so you're getting the role of like outgrown it. You've definitely outgrown where you were, and you're claiming it now. And you feel very like wise. It's not like you're rubbing in it people's faces like, "Ooh, see me." It's just like, yeah, you know that you are on this different level now, and it has been time for a while. I feel like you're like, yeah, we knew that already. So like, let's let the reality reflect what I already knew within myself. That is kind of what is happening. And so you're really reclaiming your power, but also mourning the past. Maybe it's also time to get some closure. And so you're talking about what didn't go right, what doesn't sit right with you. So maybe you have been like mistreated before, and now you feel like ready to speak up about it. And that really puts you back in your power as well. It's about sharing your voice. It's about reclaiming that power, and setting boundaries. And also to not let the past be like seem greater than it was. It's like you're really seeing clearly what wasn't right. And through seeing that for what it is, you can accept it and you can let it go. If you're denying the bad, the ugly, it's going to like be an open wound still. And so it's beautiful how you are aware of the fact that you did not agree with this and you're moving on, but you see it for what it is. And it's okay to be sad about that. I love this. It's just, you're accepting it, you're being sad about it, you're really processing this whole journey, this whole like roller coaster ride that you've been on. Now that you are moving to the next phase, it's like you're looking back on what happened, you see it for what it is, like you're really finishing the journey here. And it also feels like you do not have to do, Spirit is saying you do not have to do this for other people. Like it might feel like you are needing to give other people permission to be forgiven or want to make other people feel good about your journey, but you do not owe anyone anything. Like if someone wants to talk things out with you, they can come to you as well, right? It's not just about you. That's not only your responsibility. And so if other people want to right their own wrongs, they can do that. They can show you. Like if you're trying to make people behave in a way that they do not want to, because you feel like you want to close this off, like it's okay to like close that door and never speak to them again. And that might feel really weird because you feel like you need some closure, but maybe that is closure enough. That is also showing something, right? It's like, okay, we're done now. Thank you. Goodbye. You do not owe anyone anything, especially if they did you dirty. You're good enough already where you are right now. Like, be proud of how far you've come and that you're finally able to close this chapter. That's beautiful. Your journey is beautiful, and now it's just time to move on. I'm excited for you. And so, like, remember, you're almost at the finish line. Speak up for what you believe in, but you do not owe anyone anything. Okay? Let me know how this resonated. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have a great week. Bye. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. What I'm seeing is there are 2 cards, actually, that say adjustments are required. So I decided to pull one of these fun question cards, which are in Dutch. But this one says, what is needed more and what is there too much? That's not the best translation, but I hope that you see what I'm getting at. So I feel like you are still kind of dabbling into old ways of being that you are not very clear of like what they are, but you know that something isn't really working anymore. And I feel like that also has to do with feeling good enough. There is this card of balance here as well, and the card here, you're good enough. And frankly, I feel like that just comes from overwhelm. We have a warrior woman and inner temple. So what I feel like is that you have so many things going on right now. But even though that happened, and maybe because of that, like a lot of things happening in your life, you've been really changing. And I also feel like this might be a unconscious process. And so you're now at this point where some things just are not feeling right anymore. And it feels like you want to break out of your old mold. And so that's probably why you chose this reading, right? So that's kind of what I'm feeling energy-wise, like where you are right now. So who you are becoming. I feel like the person that you are becoming is a lot more grounded. You are choosing a different path for yourself. I feel like where you are now is not where you'll be staying because of these things not being in balance. So there is the card of balance, of adjustments are required, and then what is there too much of and what is there too less of, what is needed. And that is kind of the question that has probably been going on in your mind. Like, what is still feeling like for me and what is not really like fitting me anymore, the version that I am right now. And so while answering these questions, this can bring up a lot of doubt, a lot of uncertainty, as our identity is kind of our safe space, right? Our job, like the person that we are with our friends, maybe like you're a mother or you're a father, like those kind of identities become our comfortable little box. That's how we present ourselves, those are the labels that we go by. And so when we are starting to change those labels, the feeling of that safe box feels like it's disappearing as well. But actually what is happening here is it's just a shift in perception. You are starting to see yourself differently. And so in that way you can show up for yourself better. I feel like you have not been able to show up for yourself in the best way because of things being really chaotic. Maybe there are a lot of lessons that you're learning or have been learning right now. And now you're just like, okay, this old way has to go. I need to change something. And through changing something, through feeling where you want to, it's like you are trying to figure out where your place in the world is, where you will feel most uplifted, most appreciated, and most seen. I feel like that is the desire that you have. You would love to be more seen by the world. And that starts with recognizing this desire within yourself and then starting to integrate that and give that to yourself first. And I feel like that is like you're freeing up some space in order to be doing that for yourself first. We always have to do these things first for ourselves before the world around us starts reflecting what we've learned or where we're at in life. And so you're freeing up this space by making these adjustments to be able to really see yourself. And so what is it that you want to be seen about yourself? Are there parts of yourself that need exploring, or are there facets of yourself that you've just uncovered? Like, oh, I'm like this as well. Oh, great. Like, what can I do in this area of life? That's exciting, right? I feel like this might have to do with spirituality as well, like going to women's circles or reading a certain book that a lot of people are a fan of and then like talking about the book with other people, or like doing a course or finding a new hobby like ceramics, or like these are just some random things that I'm throwing at you, but like it's like you're discovering this new part of yourself, or you are feeling like you want to explore a part of yourself more. And through doing that, it kind of catapults you in this space of, okay, cool, this is where I belong, this is where I feel really good, I want to have more of this experience, and so I need to pivot, I need to make sure that the rest of my life is aligning with this sort of lifestyle or this feeling that I'm now cultivating within myself. I want to have more of that. So what do I need to shift in order to feel more of this? So basically you're doing like a screening of your life, seeing what fits, what doesn't fit, and finding the things that make you feel really good. And I feel like those things are already in your life. It's not like you really are actively like seeking them out. I feel like something random happened and then you stumbled upon it and now you feel like, oh, this is where I want to go. Okay, now it makes sense, right? Something like that. And I feel like Spirit is encourage you to really see that you are good enough already. Like you do not have to do anything to move forward with this. It's like, if it feels good, it feels good. It's for you. Your soul is literally showing you through this feeling of feeling good that it is like where it wants to go. Your soul is always guiding you and showing where you're needed and like where you can grow more, where you want to go, what is for you by these feelings of joy. Joy is like the indicator that you're on the right path for you. And so don't question your own joy. Don't question like certain connections that you're making that might be different than the connections that you had before, like different types of people that you wouldn't normally like hang out with before. Like that is not a coincidence. Like those people can teach you things, show you different parts of life, right? And so maybe your old circle is like, okay, why are you hanging out with them? I kind of feel like this, like you have this fixed group of people that you hang out with all the time, and now you're just suddenly like wanting to hang out with other people, and they're like, what? That's kind of weird. And it's not, like you are growing. And yeah, this card, My Fearless Freedom Lights Up the World. I feel like that's you. You are, while going through this, uncovering new parts of yourself and then being able to share more, being able to, like, you're way happier like this. And so that's such a good thing, right? You're bringing in that balance, because if that wasn't the case before, like, amazing that you get to uncover new things that really work for you, right? That's amazing. And so how can you bring in more of that? That's kind of the message here. How can you lean on that even more? How can you, I feel like that is just what is coming. You're getting more of those amazing experiences because you feel like, oh, okay, this is more of like what fits me. And maybe you didn't really have that feeling before. Oh my gosh, I forgot to, I took a break in between filming and I blew out my candles because I went for a walk and I didn't light them again. I'm so sorry. Let me light your candles. You can also set an intention while I light this candle. Like, an intention is kind of like a wish. So my wish for you is that you find more places where you feel appreciated and lit up and like yourself. Something like that. Okay, now let's shuffle your tarot. Let me see what else I can read for you. Okay, let me see. Can I get some more cards for pile 3? There they are. The Hanged Man, the Five of Swords, the World, the Wheel of Fortune, the Star, and the Ace of Cups. So with this card, you see all these pieces of like yarn or something are connected with each other. They're loosely hanging, like it doesn't really have a clear pattern, but you know that this is one long string because it has these colors of the rainbow. So it starts here and then it moves out, right? So it's all interconnected, even though it doesn't really make sense. And I feel like for you, a lot of things just didn't make sense up till now. And it's beautiful because you are starting to see why the things happened that happened. It's starting to make sense a little bit. And that is also painful because you get to look back on a certain part of your life that didn't go as you planned it, that didn't go as you wanted. And this is kind of an energy that I read a lot, or like see people go through also in my own process, of when you are at this crossroad of stepping into a new version of yourself. It's also, I just made a post about this on Insta as well. I can't remember what I said. I will post a picture here as well because I feel like that is relevant. When we are stepping into this new version, we are also having to reflect back on the old version as well in order to move forward. We have to look at what didn't work. We have to like maybe mourn the loss that we're also like we're leaving behind a part of ourselves. We might leave behind a lifestyle. We might leave behind people. We might leave behind a place. Like if you're moving, maybe you're moving out of your hometown, for example, like that also brings sadness with it, and maybe frustration, maybe disappointment because of people not like reciprocating your love or like not feeling appreciated. And I feel like something like that definitely happened with you as well. And it's important to know that this is like the looking back on what didn't work is a natural process of growing into this new version. So don't feel like you've done anything wrong or you're stuck here. It's more a reflecting phase before you can really see who you've become. You first have to know, like what I talked about before, the adjustments that need to be made. You first have to know what doesn't work in order to see like what you can change, what you can do about it to make it work. And then that's like the good part, right? And I'm also it's funny that I put these cards here, the Star and the Ace of Cups. It's kind of it's not necessarily like the same energy, but it's kind of similar. The Star, like if you're the star, like, you know what I mean? It's just like this beautiful energy being seen as you are like shining. I also have to think of the sign of Pisces, and normally I'm not really big on astrology and stuff. Like I like astrology, but I'm not really doing much with it. But I feel like the energy that Pisces people have, being this, like Pisces is the sign of emotions, of psychic abilities, really loving, a bit slow moving. And I feel like you are being true to your own emotions. It's not like you're holding them in. You're being just upfront, unapologetic. It's really beautiful, actually. It's not a feeling of like trauma dumping or whatever. It's just like, okay, I feel this. This is me. I'm going through this. I'm allowing it to be here. That's more what I'm trying to say. You're allowing your feelings to be there as they are, as they're showing up. Yeah, and that is really healing for you. I think that is exactly what you need right now. And the Ace of Cups is the energy. It's like also water sign energy. And it's also about receiving. I feel like you are opening up to receive the healing that you've been needing. And you're allowing yourself to really go through these emotions and then also reflect back on what happened, and what you would like to happen differently, but also accepting what happened. And I also feel like I need to put this card here as well, as this is where you're going. The understanding and the healing of past events. And so you're kind of leaving behind this feeling of not feeling good enough, but also kind of a stagnant energy of not being able to see how to move forward. And yeah, I feel like you're pretty strong. I feel like you're very nurturing, but you're also nurturing to yourself right now. And you're looking deeper at patterns, at the root of problems. You're able to see where these patterns might have come from. As for example, our ancestors always, if they didn't heal a certain pattern within themselves, or they had a traumatic experience, if they didn't heal from that, they pass that trauma on to the next generation. And so these roots are kind of representational of maybe ancestral trauma. And like you might not see where a certain pattern or feeling of being stagnant in some place of your life, like maybe you always attract like emotionally unavailable people, and then you're like, why does this like keep happening? And so maybe that has been there is something that hasn't been safe for your ancestors within relationships, and they have passed on this pattern to you as well. And so you're getting to the there we go, to the root of the problem. And that is kind of what you're realizing. You're realizing that you are this tree, but there is a lot more going on subconsciously, energetically, than you can see at the surface. And so you're being really patient with yourself, but also discerning and also really honest towards yourself, because you're able to look at the past with an open mind. You're able to be really honest and not like sugarcoat things, because you now are reflecting on what isn't working. And so you have to be able to have an open mind, right? To be able to really look at that. And that's beautiful because you're really doing that. And so it might be interesting to look into ancestral trauma. And I also feel like you are really being patient with yourself, and that's going to really help. I feel like the more patient you are with yourself in this process, like the faster it's going to go, because you're open for new information in this way. You're not blocking it by being fearful or wanting to like get a quick fix. It's just you're seeing that you really have to think this over and get different kinds of perspectives to be able to really learn the lesson that you're in right now. And you're already doing that, which is so beautiful. And yeah, you're just like cutting cords. It's time to be true. It's time to reflect. And I also feel like these are like little decisions that you're making. It's not like you are moving to the other side of the country. While like maybe that is a fun thing to explore, like that option, but it's more, yeah, it's like you're exploring your options and being really truthful about what works and what doesn't work. I feel like I want to get one more question for you to leave you with. This for, oh, that's a bit much. Let's take this one. Who or what is still connected to this place? So I feel like there is a part of you that wants to communicate something to you. And this is an old version of you. And so when we are shifting our life, it's not like we need to leave everything behind. It's funny that I made that comment about moving to the other side of the country. Sometimes it feels like if we see things that are not working, that we just need to like change everything because like we don't feel good enough, or like we want to drastically change in order to feel better. I had when things weren't going my way, like when I was a teenager, I was like, okay, well, I really wanted to move to America. So I'm from the Netherlands and I wanted to go to America because there everything seemed like going right and the best place ever. And to be honest, I like wouldn't move to America anymore, but it's a beautiful country, but yeah, let's just not right now. But I thought like, okay, if I like move to the other side of the country, all my problems would disappear, right? It's kind of this all or nothing energy, and I'm still like pretty all or nothing. But I also learned that you can make little decisions in order to really change your life. It's about the kind of people you hang around with. It's about being conscious of what kind of foods your body needs, right? Instead of just eating whatever is presented in front of you. And like the kind of media you consume. It's about living intentionally, and through making different choices, you can drastically change your life. You don't have to move to the other side of the country for that, right? Because then Like the same patterns will probably show up as well. It's not going to solve all your problems. Might give you like a lot of new insights and meeting new people and like different culture and stuff. But like who you are, how you see yourself is an internal process. And that is what this card reminds me of. Like the parts of you that are amazing, that you might take for granted. I feel like there are parts within you that are beautiful, but you take for granted. And so don't change everything about yourself. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it now. Okay, so kind of what Spirit is communicating to me is like, you do not have to change. I feel like you want to become this new person with all these, like, because you have found something that really sparks your interest, that is really fitting within you, and now you just want to take on this different, it's like a different coat, right? You first had this jacket on and now you want to put this coat on, but still what is underneath that coat is still you. And so Spirit is asking you to look at the parts of yourself that are already beautiful, that don't need changing. And to be honest, you don't need changing. You only need changing if it feels good to you, if it feels fun to you, and if something is standing like in between you and your growth and in between where you really want to go. That's when you need change, but you do not need to change yourself because you're already the star. Like this is already you. And you're already doing, like everything is already moving the way it should. And you'll soon see why the things happened that happened. And then you get to receive these beautiful blessings. And yeah, it's okay. So what I'm feeling is just like you get to see how amazing you actually already are through what you've been going through as well. But Spirit is like saying, like, don't regret leaving it all behind just because you couldn't see how beautiful you already were. Because you do not need to change anything about yourself. If people don't appreciate you for who you are, they're just not your people. That doesn't mean that the right people won't show up. That doesn't mean that life will stay the same forever. It's not going to. Like things are already moving. That you are able to reflect on this, on what hasn't been working, means that you're already moving in the right direction. So that you have to start believing in yourself. I didn't even talk about this card. It says, when I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. So when you start to see that you're actually this warrior and that you need a little bit more self-love and you deserve to do these things that light you up, you get to move in this direction that is for you because you already know what this is. You're following your joy and you are just going for it. You're not only lighting up other people, but you also step more into your own confidence. You're in this feeling of, okay, I deserve this, because you do. And so don't doubt that. Don't doubt what feels good. Don't doubt the direction that you are being guided in. It's for you. And yeah, things might have gone like wrong in the past, but it doesn't mean that is where you should stay. You get to change. Like every day you get to make different decisions. Every day you get to choose again, right? And that feels overwhelming maybe. But if it's better for you, if it helps you to show the world the real you, if it helps you feel more at peace with yourself, with the world, listen to that. You deserve to move into that direction. And it will inspire other people to do the same. As you're showing up authentically, which you are doing, you inspire other people to do the same. So keep going. And I hope you have a lot of fun, like moving in this new direction. It feels really fun and relaxing. Like it feels like you finally get to see clearly and Be more of yourself. It feels like you have more space to be yourself. So enjoy. I hope this reading resonated. Let me know how it resonated in the comments. I hope you have a great week and hope to see you soon. Welcome, pile 4, to your reading. This reading is pretty interesting. I filmed it before and then like my camera cut off because the card got too full and there was stuff with lighting happening that wasn't really what I wanted. And so we're doing it again. But I feel like that is also a theme for your pile. I feel like there might have been some detours when it comes to stepping into this new version of you. I feel like you're already them, but somehow it kind of feels like something is postponing your growth or you fully stepping into this kind of new role that you've been growing towards. Because that you've been growing towards something is very clear. We have laying new foundations. We have like 2 cards about dreams. And then this card's also connected to the throat chakra, which is about speaking up and speaking your own truth. And we have also got the card of what is your soul calling you to do? Answer the call. I feel like you might be a little bit afraid to fully jump in. I feel like your head already is like on board with the whole process and has been like doing the work. But we also have to be ready on a soul level, right? And while I'm saying that, it feels a little bit counterintuitive because I personally believe that our soul always takes the first step. Our soul already knows where we should go. And so it gives us like these intuitive nudges towards it. And so I don't really feel like your soul isn't ready, but there is some disconnect between you fully stepping into your power. And so for every pile, I also chose a little card with a question on it. So these are Dutch questions, but it says, who is not able to receive? And to be honest, I feel like that's you. And that might feel like weird, as of course we want to receive like the good things, right? But receiving the good things sometimes is the hardest part. Especially if we're used to doing the same old, and the good things might really change things up. And we're not that fond of change, even if it's good change, because then you have to leave behind the familiar and step into the unfamiliar. And that is kind of scary to us. So I feel like there is a part of that which is kind of keeping you stagnant within your growth, but I also feel like it's divine timing. We also have the card of take time to breathe out. I don't think that these detours are such a bad thing, especially because you probably need to still take some steps to get more familiar with this new role that you're growing into, this dream that you've been working towards. There is a reason for you that you're not there yet. And so if you still have to feel into how it would feel to be there already, to make yourself feel more secure, more comfortable, then that is exactly what you need to do, right? Maybe that is the next step. Maybe you know in your head that you have to become this certain person for this new role. Like you see other people in these roles and you're like, okay, like that's who I'm becoming. And the message is here of like, no, you get to revise and make up your own version of that. It's not like, okay, other people are like that, so that's exactly who I should be as well. No, it's like you are working towards this dream. You have been, and you've been doing that in your own beautiful way. And so it won't be the same as other people are presenting themselves as. It will be unique to you. And that is beautiful. That's exactly what God wants, or the universe wants you to do. Okay, I'm getting it. Like, that is what has made you to not fully step into this, because you first have to deal with figuring out how you want to play this. And that's kind of weird wording. That's not what I was wanting to say. But if you look at it as a game, actually, it becomes a lot less serious, and you get to like play around with how you want to present yourself, right? For example, you can play around with clothing. That's fun, right? You can see that as a game. And then you can also like play around with how you want to present yourself with your words and the energy that you want to put out. Or like maybe if you're starting your own business, you can play around with the branding. So what are your primary colors that you're going to use, right? So what is the image, the overall image that you will be presenting on social media? Those facets of this whole bigger plan is for you to figure out and to play with. It's not supposed to be so serious. And you can change it at any time, right? I've been saying to the other pals as well, every day you can choose again and you can like reform yourself. You can choose something different and then that is you. It's not that you have this specific picture of like pile 4 and that is what you always have to be. No, like every day you can change that up. And it's you who gets to decide how you want to present yourself to the world. Of course, people will get used to you being a certain way, but then you can make them like be used to a different kind of way about you. It doesn't mean that what you've been doing in the past is what you should continue to do. And that's what you're learning now. But it's just a matter of time before you really figure out like what it is that you do want to present yourself as to the world. That's not a good sentence, but you still need some time to come to terms with the fact of that you're just different and that you're going to do it in your way, and then figuring out what your way really means. And that's so beautiful. And I'm feeling really excited because it's a really fun process. It's like playing. It's like picking out these puzzle pieces and then putting them together and making like your own secret sauce. And as I'm talking about this, I feel like you already are seeing some kind of picture in front of you of who this person is. And it feels really exciting and very empowering. So like if that's you, that's beautiful. Keep going with that. I just really feel this powerful, confident, but also really thoughtful, sweet person who really wants to do things right, but also stands in their power, who is creative and not afraid to take action. I feel like that's you. It's just like you already know that you are that person, but you need to be confident within that image of you in order to step forward as them. I hope that makes sense. But like if you can see it in front of you and you can feel it, you can feel that that person is you, that person is already inside of you. And to be honest, like if you can make it up, it's you who made that up. So that person is already within you. Otherwise you couldn't make it up, right? But it's about becoming comfortable with this new image of yourself and then believing that you can show up as them and then start to practice that, and then like the ball will be rolling. I'm going to shuffle some tarot now to see if I can get some extra information on this. Can I get 5 cards for pile 4 about who they're growing into be? Come. Can I get 2 more cards? So that is 4. That's a bit too much. Woo. Okay, got a lot of cards, but I'm going to pick the ones that fell out right here. Oh God. So I already said that I would get them, so sure, let's go for it. I feel like pile 4 always gets the most cards for some reason. I also heard another reader talk about this as well, that they had the same experience. That's kind of weird, but cool. Okay. Let's see. I hear you've been used to doing things the same way, and it feels like you're expected to keep doing that. But I feel like the only one who is expecting you to do that are the old people around you. And with old people, I mean like if you've been doing a study and you will be graduating soon, like that's like your friends of where you've been studying. And so if you're moving into this new position, so maybe you've already landed a job and you will be like out of university or college, you will start to work there. And so how those friends or like other students see you now won't matter, because that's not who you will be in the future, right? And so you can leave behind who you were with them and step into this new role as I wanted to say as boss, or like this position that you're getting. And so I feel like you've been hanging on to the expectations of people from the past that don't really matter. And so it might not be like that example of going to school and then the people there are expecting you to be a certain way, but it's like this old version of you has been expected by people. So maybe also at work, you've been known as a certain type of person, but then like, okay, so I'm getting attracted to this card, the Lovers. I feel like you are one of these geese, I don't know, who is like already flying higher than the rest of the pack or the group, because you already know that you can do so much more than where you've been. And so other people might still expect you to be this old way, while you internally have already been preparing to step into this new role. And so it's kind of expected for you from your old environment, the old people, or the people like of the past, because I keep saying old and past because you're moving into a new direction or you're moving into a new energy. And so it feels like the old energy is just familiar with you being a certain way. And so you energetically feel like that's expected of you. Doesn't mean that that is the case, right? You already know that that isn't the case, and you already know that you're moving or wanting to move into this new direction and become this new person. So the only thing that Spirit wants you to do is to get more familiar and build yourself up, in the sense of build this person that you dream of being up, and then start filling their shoes. I also feel like some of you have already been doing that, but it kind of feels like a fight against the old, a fight against the old expectations. And so you've been, for yourself mentally, you've been cutting those expectations off, in the sense of you are not conforming to those anymore, or you have decided that that is the old energy and you're not wanting to do that anymore. And I feel like you've been pretty successful at that if you have been starting to do this. And like if you're just starting to do this, I feel like you will be very successful at that, as you also have the Son of Cups and the Ace of Cups. And this is like the new energy. It's the energy of receiving. And it's funny that I say receiving, because the question was, who cannot receive? And so you will be receiving. But it's just that you have to fill these new shoes and become familiar with it, and to not look or like pay attention to the old expectations, because you already know that those aren't relevant anymore. It might feel like you need to step up to someone who is expecting you to be that way. So maybe they are a colleague or a friend or a family member who benefits from you being that old way. So maybe like you did something for them that benefited them, but that doesn't really resonate with you anymore. And they're pretty like pissed about it. I feel like they might not be saying it, but like you can feel that there is something off, or you feel a little bit of a resistance with that person. And just know that that is just them seeing you growing into this, I'm not a fan of saying like that you're better than them, but it's like the bigger person. I feel like you've been seeing what isn't working and moving out of that, and they are noticing that. And maybe they already know like that is what you should do, that is the best thing for you. But because you first have been benefiting them, it kind of feels like not that pleasant for them because they got a benefit out of it. So don't feel guilty to choose you. Don't feel guilty to do what is best for you. I feel like you might be waiting on some kind of confirmation that doing this is a good thing. But you do not need anyone's permission, like ever, because you are the one who gets to shape yourself into who you want to become, just like anyone else does. And like, of course, we live in a society where we have learned to ask for permission. When you look at the school systems, like you have to ask permission from the higher ups, like your teacher or your parents or your, like these authority figures. So it's kind of ingrained within us that we always need to ask permission before we go do something. For example, I have my own business, and how I have been brought up to look at making my own decisions is so not helpful when you look at the old school system. And so within my own business, I need to make decisions every day, little and big decisions. And it's sometimes terrifying because I'm waiting to get someone's permission. I'm waiting for feedback, but no one is going to give me that feedback. And so if I don't make these decisions myself, I give myself the permission. Like I need to do that in order to move forward, because no one is going to say like, oh, good job. Like you get an A+. Like, no, it's my own responsibility to build the life that I want. And we sometimes forget that, like, when it comes to creating our dream life, it's like that. We need to do it ourselves. Like, it feels weird because somewhere we have learned that we need to ask for permission, but that's just because we've been brought up to believe that we need someone else to give us permission in order for us to be good enough or to do something that we really want. And then we also feel like we need to be graded on it as well. Like we need someone to say like, oh, it's good. Oh, it's not done yet. You need to do this. But that's not how it works when it comes to shaping our own dream life, right? There's no teacher for that besides maybe the universe or God. And they will tell you what to do. And I feel like that is what you've been learning to trust as well, like to trust yourself and trust within yourself this wisdom that has been guiding you towards what feels good to you. And I would recommend to continue to do that. Like that's your intuition, that's your soul guiding you. And that's how I make decisions as well. Like I tune into that voice and I let it lead me. And that's the only way that I can make the best decisions, because I feel that it's right for me within my whole body. I feel like it resonates with me. It resonates with my soul. If something isn't resonating energetically, or it just feels kind of off, that's just my soul, my intuition saying like, no, that's not for you. And that is what you can do with this shaping of who you now want to step into. You can feel like, okay, does this resonate with me? Does this feel fun to me? Like go on Pinterest, look at branding, for example, if you have, or if you are launching your own business, and like see what resonates with you, what colors resonate. This is just an easy example, but if you look around and you start experimenting or trying things out, or just like looking around to see what fits, feel within your body like what resonates and what doesn't. And in that way you can easily see like what route your soul wants you to take. If you keep following what feels good, if you keep following what resonates, you will be shaping your life in a way that feels really good to you, and that is in alignment with your soul. And so I feel like you are pretty good at moving forward. I feel like you know who is maybe standing a little bit in your way, but you're not letting them stand in your way, because you have this beautiful vision that you are not completely seeing yet. I feel like you're building it right now, but you will receive it for sure. And so you're not letting anyone distract you, because you can feel within your soul this beautiful vision. And it's time to let the old version die and step into this new version. But it's okay for you to take your time. So you can learn how to receive, so you can learn what version of you want to step into. And that's not something that you can do like in a day. That has to be built over time, and you need to feel within your body what resonates and what doesn't. And that also takes a little bit of time. So I want to give you one more question card that maybe can help you do this. Oh my God, I love this. Okay, so this question says, where does real leadership come from? To be specific, it says, from which place is real leadership coming from? That's not a good sentence. Yeah, I think that this is like the leader pile as well, because you're learning to be truly authentic to who it is that you want to be, and you're not letting anyone influence your sincerity, your authenticity. And that is, to me, that's true leadership, to build your own version of what feels good to you, to listen to your intuition. Real leaders, like, they don't necessarily invent the wheel again, but they also stay true to what they feel like is right, and they won't compromise. They have to stand their ground, right? And they have to create their own vision. They will like ask for help from people who already are really good at what they do, and they work together to create this beautiful, like, whatever it may be. And so you are a leader as well, and you're seeing the qualities within other people, and you're starting to see your own qualities, and you're starting to be very true to what it is that you want to create, and to not let anything else from the outside like distract you. That's what you're learning. You're learning to fully step into this powerful version of you that is already living within you, and to fully step into them. And so what kind of leader do you want to be? And to be honest, we're all leaders. We're all leaders of our own life. If we decide to really stand up for what we believe in, we speak our truth, and we are being true to ourselves. We're saying no to what doesn't resonate, and we say yes to what does resonate. That's kind of what I'm coaching people about as well. To me, it's like intuition and personal leadership. That's what I stand for. And so I think that this is a beautiful question to think about for yourself. Like, what does true leadership mean to me? And what does it mean to be my own leader? How would I move throughout my life differently if I would really stand in the shoes of being my own personal leader? Like, what does that look like? So I really hope that this resonated with you. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this. I'm really curious to what you have been creating and working towards. If you want to share, let me know as well. I hope you have a great week, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!